Howdy, howdy, howdy. How are y'all all doing? I already see people out there in the comments. So fun. Welcome to Monday evening. God, seems like it's been more than a week since I talked to y'all last time. I think it's just because I missed y'all. But hope y'all are doing fantastic. Welcome to I think it's episode 137 of Cliff Notes Live. 16 days until Big Brother 25. We're getting closer. I'm getting excited as well. So we're going to talk about that this evening. We'll reminisce about some of my own experiences in the Big Brother house 4 years ago, and who knows what else. But I'm glad to have y'all with me. Let me start off with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, especially love the reality fans, and especially love you guys that are out here watching me this evening or watching on replay. Don't ever want to forget y'all guys either. It means a lot. So thank you. I have a blast doing these every Monday evening. I'll just start by saying, if you haven't already done so, please consider going out there and hitting all those buttons, the likes, the subscribes, the notifications as well. If you do that, heck, Big Brother's starting, right? And once it starts, I'm going to have all kinds of videos I'm going to be putting out there. If you're subscribed, you got your notifications turned on. If I drop a video at 5 in the morning, you'll see it. If I drop one at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, probably a little more likely, right? You'll see that one as well. So yeah, consider going out there, subscribing, turning on notifications. It's going to be fun. I was going to say it's going to be a fun summer. With the way things are going with the late start, it's going to be a fun summer. It's going to be a fun fall. Heck, we're going to get close into even maybe a fun winter, but based on one or two rumors that I'm hearing. And we'll talk about that as well. So before we get deep into the Big Brother, let me go out here and just see who I got hanging with me this evening. In addition as well, pardon me, it sounds okay now. I did some stuff over the weekend, kind of caused me to lose my voice a little bit. So if I start sounding a little froggy here towards the end, that's why. But I'll do everything I can. We'll see how long I think we'll be okay. Hey, if I did a show with COVID, I think I can do a show with a little bit of a hoarse voice as well. All right, so who do we have out here? Right off the bat, Ma, how are you doing? I hope everything's going fantastic for you. Mark Taylor as well. Mark, how are you, sir? Brian Hostetler, Jake the Horror Movie Geek, Marilyn Sutherland, Cindy Hire. God, it's so neat reading all these names every week. Keith Franken, Terry Thomas as well, and Angie Hung. Hey, Angie, welcome. Sorry, you aren't having your gymnastics anymore, but welcome. Marion as well, and who is REM out here? Nathan. And who else? Oh, and I missed one, right? And Johnny. Didn't want to leave you out as well, Johnny. All y'all guys, welcome aboard. Hope y'all are doing well. God, it is so hot here. Sam Smith, I just saw he posted, he burned his hands. Claims he burned it on the exhaust of a pressure washer. I don't know. All you got to do is put your hand down on the pavement here in Texas. Probably the same way in Florida. I remember as a kid, it used to be, and I don't know why we don't have as much anymore. The two biggest banes of being a kid, the biggest horrible things about being a kid when I was growing up, one were sticker burrs, the stickers that you'd run through and they'd stick everywhere. I don't know what happened to those. We replaced them with fire ants here in Texas, but sticker burrs and hot pavement. And we would play. Maybe we just were not in the habit of wearing shoes a lot growing up, I guess. When we played outside, we'd play soccer, football stuff in the streets, but not so much in the summertime. Those things, you can fry an egg out. We've had someone down here in Houston that baked bread inside their mailbox. I believe it. I know I say this every week, but it's just hot down here. So I hope y'all are enjoying the indoors a little bit. Get outside while you can, because once Big Brother starts, I'll forget what the sun looks like. It's just kind of the way it goes. But welcome to all of y'all. What do we have on here? Before a few little things here and there. Oh, well, let's see. Let me look at some comments real quick. Mark Taylor. Will the strike have any effect on the start of Big Brother? Will it be all rookies on the show? Well, second question first. Yeah, everything I hear is still it's going to be all rookies, which is what I want, unless it's me, and then I'll change my perception or change my opinion a little bit. But now it seems like they've been very clear that it's going to be all rookies this season, which I like. We just had all stars on. So yeah, it's going to be all that. As far as the strike goes, nothing I've heard suggests that the writer strike is going to affect it so far. But you keep having new groups joining these strikes, and it gets bigger and bigger. Yeah, there's nothing to say. I suppose that you couldn't get other groups and I don't know enough about the TV world and all that, the production side of it. So I don't know what groups it would take to get this thing shut down or delayed. But here's the thing: the longer this thing lasts, and the more people that join it, and first of all, thoughts and consideration for the folks that are involved that aren't working right now. That's never great. I hope they resolve it, just because I know there's people suffering as a result. But the longer this thing lasts, the better the chance is that we may even get more Big Brother, right? I mean, if it continues into the fall, could you have a winter episode, whether it's Celebrity Big Brother or something similar to Over the Top? Yeah, I don't know, maybe. I have heard the rumor, and I think Brian mentioned it last week, that we're 18 house guests this season, which is 2 more than we've had for years past. So that's kind of cool. I don't know how they fit 18 people in the house. That's going to be tight. But if they have 18 people and they don't have a triple eviction, if they don't have anyone self-evicting, anything like that, you could extend Big Brother a little bit later, even into the year than they've done right now. Who knows? I mean, if the strike really is going poorly and they don't have enough other TV content for those channels, you may just have CBS, instead of 3 episodes a week, I don't know, maybe they'll go to 4 or something. Right now, it's the same schedule as we've seen before. I think Brian mentioned it out there. Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday episodes. Yeah, live move-in is planned. Sunday at 10, Tuesday at 8, 7. Yeah, time zones a lot. And then Thursday will be the live show. So just like years past. So, yeah, but who knows? They could squeeze another episode in here, right? Maybe show a little. They used to have the After Dark, which I wish they still had it. Kind of live feeds, but you didn't necessarily have to be signed up for Paramount Plus, which is probably why they got rid of it. They want you to sign up for Paramount. But yeah, they could have four nights a week just to show a little bit more that's going on. I don't know. We'll see. Now, as far as the live move-in, again, it is August 2nd when this thing starts. I saw it's an hour and a half as well. So instead of just an hour-long episode, we get an extra 30 minutes, which we need on those live episodes. It's too much to introduce, especially. They're introducing, theoretically, 18 people on August the 2nd. They're going to have time to introduce that many people and have probably, an HOH competition. It's doable. But it's going to be a busy evening. And then after all of that happens, I think, and I still haven't heard it officially confirmed, but with the live move-in, I would expect that we'll have live feeds, probably not as soon as the episode's over. If nothing else, they'll shut the feeds down or not start the feeds up until after the West Coast has had their chance to watch the game as well, the episode, which would be 7, 8:30, which is 10:30 Houston time, 11:30 for y'all guys on the East Coast. At the latest or the earliest. So they probably wouldn't turn feeds on until the middle of the evening, I'm guessing. But who knows? And again, when I was in the house, we had a full week to make sure that people weren't cursing too much, although it doesn't seem to phase them on the live feeds, amongst other things that my cast did. But to kind of make sure people weren't humming, singing, not talking about production, all that. I have a feeling they'll give a couple hours of heads up to these folks as well, saying, come on, the feeds are getting ready to turn on, guys. Y'all be on your best behavior, or worse, depending on what you have a proclivity for. But anyway, I'm just excited. It's gonna start 16 days. 10, 5, 1, 16. It's gonna be so much fun. All right, let's see. Angie Hung said, been reading up on the SAG strike union rules. Actors can still do reality TV and game shows. Okay, so there you go. So they're protected from that. I know I'd seen some stuff saying that they weren't allowed to promote projects and things like that. I know there's some shows like they're premiering that aren't actually having premieres. I guess is that the right way to say it. Speaking of, coming up this week, Oppenheimer and Barbie, two movies that ought to be a lot of fun. As different as 2 movies could possibly be, right? But which one are y'all going to go see? Are you going to go see either, both? I'll probably eventually see both. If it's up to me, Oppenheimer would be first. If it's up to everyone else in my family, Barbie may have the inside track. But it's been a long time since movies have come out that I've really been excited about. These will be fun. But yeah, I think if I understood, maybe they didn't have premieres or very limited premieres because of the strike as well. Yeah, that's tough. It's hard. There's a lot of people involved. I just even think Big Brother. Now, these aren't the writers and the actors, but so many cameramen and behind the scenes people, editors, everything else involved in putting these episodes together. Just a tiny bit of it I saw. And I know there's a lot of people I never even got a chance to meet. But these things are huge productions. You watch one of these movies now, Christopher Nolan and some of these guys that spend, $500 million, and you have 20 minutes worth of credits and 10,000 people that contributed somehow. And a lot of people that go into making these movies nowadays. What do you think they would have thought back in the 1920s when they first started making movies, to see what a big deal it's become and the kind of numbers that they're dealing with? There's no way they could have envisioned this. It'd be fun to get their reaction, come back and watch it. That'd be a lot of fun. All right. I go off on a tangent, but we'll get back to focus. Johnny saying, "Hey, Johnny, welcome on board. Your streams come on right after I get off work, and I'm always happy to look forward to watching." Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And again, everything I do, unless I just screw up on the setup, but I think I'm pretty good about it. Everything I do, if it's not live, it's always recorded out there. This show, as well as my recaps and everything else. So if you ever don't take off work early, everyone's got all kinds of stuff going on. Live your life. And when you get a little downtime, then you can come find Cliff Notes Live or one of my recaps. But yeah, thank you. I'm glad to have you. Welcome to you. All right. Ma and REM both saying, will we get Celebrity Big Brother? And I don't know. It would be fun. I told y'all when I met Vanilla Ice, that's the first thing I told him is, man, you need to be on Celebrity Big Brother. I don't think that's going to happen. He's done with reality type stuff. He does a home show, but in terms of living in a house type thing, he didn't seem real interested in it. But yeah, I would love to see another Celebrity Big Brother. And if the strike is still going on, then yeah, it seems like a slam dunk to get that right. But having said that, if the strike does get resolved, and it's got to get taken care of by then. If it does, as late as the Big Brother season is going, if we don't finish up to the middle of November, end of November, maybe December with 18 house guests on, it almost seems to me like that then becomes less of an attractant for Celebrity Big Brother, because then they've got to try to get everyone lined up, change the house up, however they're going to do it, and get started on the Celebrity Big Brother. With the regular season going so late into the year, if they do Celebrity, I don't know, maybe you could squeeze it in a little bit later in the wintertime, but before Big Brother Canada starts. I know they probably don't want conflict between the two. I don't know. Or maybe they could just it's a quick season, right? They could maybe jam something in there. I don't know. I think it may depend on the strike and how much content they have and all of that. Let's just have Big Brother all the time. Why stop at 18? Let's have 16, 32, 60. Just call it like an NCAA tournament, right? We'll start off with 64 house guests. You're at a group, house group. Once you get down to the final four contestants, you go into another house with the final four from three other houses, and then you start playing all over again. It would be cool if you had different segments of Big Brother, right? The cost, astronomical. I'm sure that's the big reason. Budget wise, CBS would never allow it, but it'd be fun if you had four different groups all doing Big Brother at the same time, and then the top groups came together at the very end. Even more so if they think that, we're down to the final four, I'm just almost there to win the money, and then Julie comes on and says, well, here's the twist that you didn't think of, guys. You final four are going to be moving into a brand new house with 12 other people, and we're starting it all over again. I would go out and pay money to see the look on their faces. If Julie had done that to me, well, if she said instead of $500,000, you're getting $5 million or whatever, I would have said I'm all on board. Otherwise, I was tired, and that would have been a heck of a piece of news to hear. But hey, yeah, as a viewer, it'd be a lot of fun. All right, where's some other questions on here? See, now I'm gonna be thinking about that. Brian saying After Dark is coming back. See, just as soon as I say they're probably not going to do it, here they come. I'm glad. As long as it's coming back, not in place of anything to do with live feeds, but just an extra little teaser. And I think you can do that well. Find the right station. Heck, maybe CBS at 9 o'clock every night does it or something, but just do a little teaser so people can watch an hour or so and then think, gosh, I wish I could watch the other 23 hours. Well, guess what? Here's about 15 different Paramount Plus commercials during that After Dark, giving you the option to do just that. I'm all for it. I always wondered, because certainly we knew when the live feeds were on in the house, you assume they're on you all the time. You don't know when they're actually pointing at you or they've cut away or what. We don't know any of that. But I always assumed when Big Brother After Dark was on TV, and I knew what the hours were because I'd watched it in years past, I always assumed that during those hours, the cameras were always on and they were always focused on whatever the main thing was going on that evening. And I was always aware of that in the way I acted and everything else. Y'all know I carried around Orwell, the owl, quite a bit while I was in the house. Well, during the After Dark episodes, I especially tried to make sure that I was carrying that guy around with me, because that was the mascot of After Dark. And I figured as long as I had Orwell with me, the cameras would maybe be on me as well. And it was a chance for me to talk about my family and all that, and know absolutely certain that the cameras were pointing at me. So there was a method to my madness while I was in there carrying around that freaking little stuffed out. I like Orwell. I still have Orwell. He was a lot of fun. He was a fun little prop to have while I was in there. All right, what else do we have on here? Mark Taylor saying, are they going to have a player's exposure before the first show? I think so. I assume so. I don't know who will be doing the interviews this year, but when I went on the show, we had one day. We were all in sequester, right, for a week and a half. So we had one day that was media day, and we got taken over. If I recall, we got taken over to the CBS slot, and one at a time, or one person per car, blindfolds on the whole time. They didn't want us seeing anything. They didn't want anyone seeing us. It was top secret stuff. But we spent an entire day going from location to location to location within the CBS soundstage or lot, doing all these interviews. Entertainment Tonight Canada, Parade Magazine, Diary Room interview. Mine was with Jeff Schroeder, and it was fun. So yeah, I assume that they will do something similar again this year, so that we get a little taste on the app, Paramount Plus. They'll say, welcome your new house guests, and we'll get 3 minutes from each of them, something like that, 5 minutes. I assume they'll do that. And if the premiere is August 2nd, then I don't know, July 30th, something like that. Maybe that Monday would be a good time for the cast release. They don't want to do it too early, because I think they don't want people trying to dig up too much dirt or take any chance that something comes out or whatever. So they kind of wait a little bit towards the end to get you excited. But yeah, I expect to see it. I hope they do it, because I'm really planning to do a preseason evaluation where I can look at everyone, and based on nothing more than a picture and 300-word bio, I'm going to make all kinds of stereotypical decisions and judgments about every single one of them, how they're going to do. And then at the end of the season, I can see just how wrong I was and how wrong it is to base people on nothing but photos. Yeah, I say a lot of that because I know when I did my season, I know people looked at me and said, yeah, he's an old cowboy guy. He ain't gonna last. He'll be out of here day one. I almost was out day one, but I know people let me put it this way. I know I wasn't a top pick on anyone's fantasy draft league for Big Brother. I'm sure I was at the very bottom. I kind of like proving people wrong, and now I'm gonna turn around and make the same assumptions and kind of like proving myself wrong sometimes as well. All right. Angie's saying, I don't see actors doing Big Brother because they wouldn't be allowed to talk about any TV or film projects. Yeah, good point. And the other thing too is even if they're allowed to do it, I have a feeling you could get some bad blood, right? For some people. And Masson Andrus is saying, I feel like a celebrity season probably won't happen for a long while, considering how expensive celebs are. Well, that's probably a point as well, is one, even if they're allowed to do it, I could see celebrities maybe not wanting to get someone mad that they're working somehow while someone else isn't working, or it's, I get it. I think there's some things that may affect that as well. As far as expenses, I have never figured out or found out how much these celebrities get paid to go in and play this Celebrity Big Brother game. I'm sure it's decent, but I think for a lot of these celebrities, even beyond the money, I assume for a lot of them, it's not about the money, it's a chance to rehab their image. You know, there's a lot who go in there that maybe have some little stains here and there, some things that they want to do to fix them up a little bit and things like that. So for them, maybe the money isn't as big an issue as a chance just to present a different face to the public. But after the last Celebrity Big Brother, look at people like Todrick and a few of the others in there that didn't always. I'm trying to think who else really was creating issues. Shannon Muckler and some. There were some people at Celebrity Big Brother that probably didn't help their image playing that game, and I have a feeling there's a lot of celebrities that probably take pause because of that, and may have a lot more conditions. And I can see a lot of people saying, I'll do it, but I'm not going in there with all these live feeds where you're going to see all my warts and everything else. Show me for an hour, a couple times a week, and we'll call it good. But beyond that, ain't going to happen. So they may have to move from the D and E list celebrities down to LM and NLP kind of celebrities. But now it may be, and maybe it would get to a point where you don't have actors as much as you have YouTube reality people or something. I don't want to see that. I don't need the Amazing Race does that. They get these YouTube sensations and all that. Okay, everyone has a job to do, but I either want to see just regular people or I want to see celebrities that I actually know. The in-betweens are kind of just my own personal opinion. All right, what else do we have on here? Cindy Hire saying, I'm taking a screenwriter's course this term, and my professor said my story could work as a feature film. Ooh, well, that's pretty cool. That would be a fun job. In some alternative world, maybe after I retire somewhere down the road, I think it'd be fun to write books. I'd like to. I think I could have creative ideas that could do something like that, but to go for that into screenwriting would be kind of cool. Hey, maybe I'll write the books, and Cindy, I'll come to you and you can edit them for the screenplay and all. That's cool. All right. Well, I'm cheering for you. That'd be a lot of fun. If that happens, you better save me a seat at the premiere, or at least let me know where it's going to be, and I'll stand out on the sidewalk and cheer you on or whatever. That's cool. That's kind of a cool passion as well. I mean, to take something like screenwriting, it's not something I ever think I could make money with, but kind of just a cool thing to learn about. Something completely different from what I do. So that's good. Congrats to you. Props to you, Cindy. All right, Mark is saying, what's with the background? Oh, thank you for asking, Mark. For those of you who may not know, the background, my home away from home for a few years growing up, located College Station, Texas A&M University, right across the street from Texas A&M University, the world famous Dixie Chicken Saloon, the bar for Aggies from Texas A&M. At one point in time, they sold more alcohol beer, probably beer. They sold more beer per square foot than any other location in the United States. It's because of all those Aggies hanging out there. I live just across the street from it, and it was a place where, like I say, 100 feet from the dorm I lived in. Spent many a night, many a day, many an afternoon in the Dixie Chicken. It's a bar, but it's so much more now. They served lunch there, and dinner too. But it's where I played a whole lot of 42. And for those of you who don't know, 42 is a domino game. A little bit like bridge or gin or something, but it's a game that you play. But way back in the day, it was invented for people who thought that cards were the demon's plaything or whatever. So they use dominoes instead. Not sure what the difference is, but I didn't know how to play 42 till I got to A&M. It's kind of a big tradition there. Had a lot of the older guys teach me, and before long, I was doing tournaments. I was playing all the time. Probably kept me out of a lot of trouble. We'd go over to the Chicken on a Thursday afternoon. At the time, the drinking age was 19, so they'd send the freshmen over. They'd say, all right, y'all go over there at 5 o'clock in the afternoon because they don't start checking IDs till 7 or 8. So y'all go over there. You sit at a table. You save as a domino table, And then when we come up, the upperclassmen, when we come over, we'll say we'll let you have one spot at the table to play 42 with us and all that. So that's kind of how I started playing, and yeah, had a lot of fun. So that's the background of the Dixie Chicken. I guarantee, talk to any Aggie that you ever meet, mention the chicken, they'll know exactly what you're talking about. Here's another thing that's kind of cool about the chicken. They actually have a rattlesnake. Sally, I think is their name, Sadly the Rattler. I could be wrong on that, but they've got a rattlesnake they've had forever that sits in a cage along one wall, big glass enclosure. They've at times had a couple of rattlesnakes in there, but so you can go in there, you can play pool, you can play 42, you can check out the rattlesnakes, drink a little Coke or beer or whatever while you want as well. Once upon a time when I'd go there, you could get Lone Star beer for 65 cents a bottle. I don't think that's the case anymore. But anyway, I had a lot of fondness for the chicken, and I got to do something a little bit fun this weekend. I actually went up to the chicken, and unfortunately, I can't tell you exactly what I did because there was some agreements made. But there was some promotional stuff that took place, and I'll just leave it at that. You'll find out soon enough. I'll Lord knows I'll mention it as soon as I'm allowed to. But yeah, it was a lot of fun going up there visiting. I met the owner of the place. I knew her dad when he was the owner way back, and now his daughter owns it. And talked to one of the head people. They're celebrating their 50th anniversary of this place next year, and I'm gonna maybe write a story or two about some of my memories from it. Y'all remember Texas A&M started off as a military school for men only, right? And that's the way this school started. And then in the late 60s, they started saying, okay, well, you don't have to be in the ROTC. You don't have to be in the military to be here. That's going to be optional. And then in the very early 70s, they said, yeah, and we're going to start letting women in the school as well. It amazes me that it's only been 50 plus years since they were co-ed. That just blows me away that there was a time where women couldn't go to that university. But anyway, so right after all that happened, this bar opened up, and it's been there ever since. All right. Amanda Lowe saying, did you take any souvenirs from the Big Brother house besides Orwell? Yeah, but I took a lot of souvenirs. Now, most of the souvenirs I took were in the form of clothes from our competitions and things like that, right? Yeah, stuff I wore during the different things. My BB Comics outfit, the vest I wore for my Battleback competition, a lot of that kind of stuff. I also had a coffee cup, Orwell. I didn't take Orwell. I left Orwell, but I took a lot of other stuff. And what I didn't realize was that when I left the house, they took all of our luggage. They sent me off to my sequester spot. They had all of my luggage and everything else. And they had security people who went through everything with a fine-tooth comb. And they pulled out everything that was Big Brother related. If I didn't come into the house with it, I didn't go back out of the house with it either. So they took all of it. So by the time then I got my suitcase, I looked through it. It's like, oh man, y'all took it all. That's disappointing. Well, then later after the season was over, they sent to each of us a box, big box, like a 2 foot by 3 foot by 2 foot box. I mean, a big box. They had everything in it, all kinds of things for us. If there were any clothes that we'd accidentally left behind, they sent that. Most of the outfits that we wore, they sent. Not all of them, but most of them they sent. They sent a cast photo that we'd all signed. They sent my key that I'd originally gotten. They sent the chip that we pulled out for veto competitions. They sent a coffee mug. They sent the hide and go veto, the big veto that we used on it. So a lot of things. And then I ended up with Orwell a little bit later. But yeah, so I took it, but I didn't actually get to control what I got. They then decided what I got back. I thought I was really sneaky because I also had taken a laminated sheet of paper that listed all the ingredients and all the nutritional everything for slop that we had in the house. And I thought, well, this is kind of cool. If I know exactly what goes in and everything, this will be fantastic to have. And I tried to hide that in the suitcase just in case. I found it as well. I should have stuck it down my boot when I walked out the door or something, but I didn't think of it. So, and I did not get that. So there are certainly some things they kept. But yeah, we all got a lot of our mementos. And so I've got all of that I say, oh, and we got my BB comics as well. The actual comic itself, the groundhog is what I was. So that was cool. So I've got a few things we gave to Give Kids the World charity for auction, things like that. But I've got a lot of them. It means a lot when I look at them as well. So that's pretty cool. All right. We've got Angie saying, any idea how much Julie relies on writers for what she says in the Big Brother episodes? I don't know. She says so little, right? I mean, nothing against Julie, but it's not a hello, house guest. How are y'all doing in there? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure she's got some writer somewhere, but we'll see. I'm sure if it comes into a pinch that they can probably say, hey, Julie, you're just going to have to wing that 2 minute of intro, and you're going to have to, I assume, I mean, her background is news anchors and all that. So, I assume when she does the exit interviews that's Julie, and that she's in control of the interview and the questions on it. So that stuff, she'll be fine. The intro stuff, whatever. And I assume as well, Don Woolman is the guy who goes, previously on Big Brother. I met him. That was kind of cool, associating a face with that voice. But he does a lot of the talking during the thing, and I assume he'll still be able to do that. If not, well, I was going to say, call me and I can impersonate the Big Brother voice as well. But I don't want to get anyone mad at me for crossing lines or anything either. So I don't know. We'll find out. They're going to make it work. They have to, because if not, what else is going on TV, right? They'll figure something out. REM saying, can fans submit competition ideas? You could. And it won't hurt. And who knows? Maybe something will show up. Who is someone? I know Jeff Probst has taken some fan ideas once or twice and turned them into competitions for Survivor. Theoretically, you could do that for Big Brother as well. But here's, some of you may not realize, there is a person whose only job within Big Brother is they're like the executive producer for games. And their whole deal is to figure out what games are going to be played, making sure that they've got the construction and carpenters and everyone that needs to come together to build those games. And that's their only job, is to do that. Some people deal with the editing and filming and all. Others deal with the other segments. And I feel bad that I can't remember his name now, but the person who did games during my season has moved on to other things. But I'm sure they brought someone else in. Yeah, you make suggestions. I've got all kinds of suggestions I throw out there all the time. But at the end of the day, I have a feeling those things are lined up so far in advance, because there's so much involved in building all these sets and comps and everything else. So you send an idea in, maybe you'll get it for Big Brother 26. They'll probably never acknowledge that they took your idea, because then theoretically there could be some financial compensation involved in all of that. So if you ever send it in, I'm sure you won't ever get any kind of thank you or any acknowledgement whatsoever. But if something similar shows up on down the road, you may know that you had a little input into the process. I wish more people would do it. I think there's a lot of ideas out there that people could throw out, and a lot of them would be different. I want to see different competitions. I don't want myself or anyone else playing the game to ever feel like we know what next competition is going to happen, because you do it the same every year about the same time. Completely change it up, catch everyone off guard, do something they've never done before, and see how they do. During our season, we had one new competition, and that was the poised on ivy, where you had to hold on to 4 rope on each leg and each hand, and kind of balance and all of that. They've never really done something like that before, and now they've done it for the past few years. So I feel like every once in a while they bring a new one in, but yeah, I'm open to new ideas. I'd love to see some things change up even more than that. All right, Marion saying, were you all held together for Camp Comeback in the jury house before the comeback competition? No. During our battle back, or our comeback, first of all, Camp Comeback was upstairs. It turned into the Have Not room after Camp Comeback was over. But David and Ovi and Kimmy had to sleep in that Camp Comeback room, which the beds were horrible. They're kind of lumpy, and they weren't horizontal, and they weren't a lot of fun, but it was cool up there. I mean, air conditioning cool. That was the one saving grace those guys had. It wasn't too bad. But no, they had to stay up there. And then when I was evicted from the house, I wasn't out of the house for but 5 seconds or whatever. Yeah, they evicted me, and immediately Julie said, "All right, now y'all are doing the battle back." So I immediately walked outside. Someone threw the camp comeback uniform, said you got to wear it during the comp. Threw that thing on. As soon as I came back from the commercial, we did the competition, and I was right back in the house. So yeah, I didn't spend 1 second more away from the house than anyone else that was already in there. So yeah, no hotels or anything like that for me, and not for them either. Now David, he was gone. Remember, for the first couple of weeks, and until Ovi came back in. David was kept somewhere else, and to this day, none of us know where he was kept. He is not as he may have told Ovi. They're especially tight, but I've asked before. He's never told me exactly where he was. I assume it was a hotel or a condo or something somewhere, but I don't know. It was a complete mystery. I know while we were in the house, when he came back in, our huge fear was that he had been allowed to watch the feeds, or at least some of the feeds, because he seemed to know so much about what was going on already. And so we all assumed that maybe he had somehow gotten to see something. And with that, we then got worried. What does he know that other people don't know? I'm sure Christy and Tommy were probably thinking, "Oh God, does he know that we are that we know each other?" I'm sure Holly and Kat were thinking the same thing as well. We didn't know. So with David, yeah, he spent a little time away from the house, but where, I don't know. Now, talking about the battle back and comeback, I'm glad you mentioned that, because did y'all realize, looking forward 16 days until the Big Brother 25, but looking backwards, 4 years ago today, July 17th, 2019, the Wednesday night episode of Big Brother, I was on the block. Jessica was on the block. It was the episode where Caitlin Herman came in to host the haunting of Caitlin Herman, putting a puzzle together, which Kat won. I picked Kat as house guest choice, and yet she took Jessica off instead of me. I should have known right then something was up. But she won the competition. But that was the episode, or that was the competition where I got to meet Caitlin. And it was so cool. I'd already met KC and Tyler in previous competitions, which was, they're great people and all that. But Caitlin, I was so happy to see her, because I'd felt so bad for her when she couldn't solve a puzzle during her season. I was just so distraught over it. So to see her come back in and smiling and actually kind of having fun and making fun of puzzles and all of that, it just really inspired me. And I was yelling at her, I was smiling, I was waving my hands, and she told me later she had so much fun watching me, and likewise, I was really starstruck when I met Caitlin. But that was 4 years ago today. 4 years ago tomorrow is the day that I was voted out of the house on a blindside. Won the battle back. Yay. And then a few hours later won the HOH. So yeah, July 18th, 2019 was kind of my shining moment, my victory lap, so to speak, and all of that. Now, absolutely 4 years ago today, the life, what was going on. I remember from this day, Wednesday, Nicole and I are both on the block at this point in time. I remember Nicole and I sitting out on a bench next to the swimming pool all by ourselves, just kind of reminiscing about everything that we had done so far in the season, and talking and saying, "Gosh, probably one of us is not going to be here after tomorrow night. It's horrible. We wanted to work together. Ovi's gone. Now one of us may be gone." And just having fun talking about what a great experience it was, but also kind of saying goodbye to each other with the anticipation that probably we weren't going to both be there for much longer. Well, things work out differently, right? It was so great when I won and got back in. We sat on the bench then on that Friday and talked about how great it was that, once again, we got a chance to, I guess, a few days after that, when we got the backyard open, that we were still in the house. But really, Nicole and I sitting on that bench and talking about all of that on that Wednesday is what really brought us that much closer together, and really helped us going forward, I think. Before then, we had worked together, we were watching out for each other, but I don't think the relationship was quite as solid until we kind of saw our lives flashing before our eyes and the partnership dissolving. And then we got a second chance. And from that point on, I wasn't going to betray her, and she wasn't going to betray me. And we did okay. I think we did okay, right? Yeah, I had fun doing it. But 4 years ago today. All right, REM saying a dream celebrity Big Brother USA cast. Uh, I don't know. I mentioned Vanilla Ice. Neil Patrick Harris has talked about wanting to be on that show forever, right? How cool would it be to be in there with him? Rihanna is a huge fan. I would not want to see Rihanna in there because I don't know. The other celebrities would maybe they'd just be fine with it. If I'm anywhere close to Neil Patrick Harris, if Neil Patrick Harris or Rihanna, either one, were in that house and I was in there, I could play the game. I just would walk around the whole time with my jaw dropping and say, yeah, please don't vote me out because I want to hang around with you guys a little bit longer. But as far as strategy, it's not like I'm going to vote out either one of y'all. I'd be a horrible celebrity Big Brother player with some people in the house. I don't know. Who would I want to see in there? You're talking about you're talking about celebrities. You know who would be fun? How about someone like Cyndi Lauper? Yeah, she's a big name brand. She's probably too famous for it, but she'd be fun. Because I think there's a big difference between Cyndi Lauper, the performer, and Cyndi Lauper, the person. Right? I think there may be some differences between the two. I think she has a persona that may be a little different from her. She'd be fun. Sports people, I don't know. Hey, get Johnny Manziel in there. We talked A&M earlier. Get Johnny Manziel would be fan. Johnny Manziel, Cyndi Lauper, Neil Patrick Harris. I don't care who else you put in after that. I'll put those three in. It's going to be fun no matter what. I don't know. Who do y'all think? Who would be the perfect? They can't be too famous. They maybe sometimes need to have just a little bit of a mark on their publicity that encourages them to come back in. I don't know. I just would love to see it again just because. But yeah, those three would be a lot of fun. All right, Ma saying, what kind of celebrity list do you think you were on? Yeah. Do you consider yourself DELMNOP? And REM saying, Cliff's no Tom Cruise, but way cooler. Well, thank you for that. My wife likes to tell me, Sharon always says, do you realize the night that you won the battle back and then the HOH, for that one brief period of time, I was trending above Tom Cruise for Twitter. I guess he had one of his Mission Impossibles coming out. I mean, he's done like 50 of those things by now, right? Seems like every few years there's another Tom Cruise Mission Impossible, but he had one coming out. But there for about 24, 48 hours, my name was trending above Tom Cruise's. So yay for me. What level? D and E's probably pushing a little bit there, Ma. I'm probably I don't know. Where would you rank someone that gets recognized a couple times a week at the stores and all that? That is cool though. I mean, I'm just me. It's fine. I never thought of it until I did that show and actually had people recognize. I'm still just regular old me, but every once in a while I kind of get knocked out of that a little bit with someone who comes up and recognizes me. And I say a couple times a week. It's probably about half the time I go out somewhere, someone will recognize me. And that's always fun. I love it. So I don't know. Put me on F list, G list, something like that. I'll take it. Whatever, as long as I'm part of the alphabet. Erica Waite saying, have you ever wished on whether or not you believe Paul was robbed or talked about whether Paul was robbed by a bitter jury when Nicole won? I believe he did. Paul, so tough for Paul making it through two separate seasons and not winning that thing. I don't know. Yeah. I guess they probably were a bit of a bitter jury. I think I think there were votes cast against Paul as opposed to support. But I don't know. I thought he played a good game. I feel like there were a few times that Paul made it a little too personal. And I also think that there may have been some, maybe not bitter jury as much as some regretful jury. I think there's probably people who, when they got through and were sitting there in the jury house and started comparing notes, there's probably some people saying, why did we just go along? Why didn't we put up more fight? Why didn't we recognize the threat that Paul was? So does that make them bitter, or does that just make them a little embarrassed? I don't know. It's tough because I know during my season, I wasn't sure how people were going to go into the voting itself. I thought there would be some people that could be bitter jurors. And I was trying to figure out how I could handle like Kat really griped at me as she went out the door saying I was sneaky and I'd work a deal with anyone that was HOH, which is true. Whatever it takes to survive, Kat. But she kind of called me out on that. So I really thought at the time that maybe Kat was going to be a bitter juror if I was there. Sis, I thought was going to be a bitter juror against me because I tried so hard to get Jack out. I wasn't sure if Jack was going to hold that against me or not. The others in the house, I wasn't as certain that they would hold things against me, but those three especially I was worried about. And I really thought if those three held it against me, probably Jessica would as well. So I definitely was worried about whether it was a bitter jury or they were going to recognize what I thought was pretty decent gameplay. Well, as it turns out, I was probably thinking a little too far ahead. I wasn't quite to that point yet, but you got to be thinking about that from start to finish, right? I know every time someone was getting evicted from that house, I would try to make sure they went out on the best term possible in terms of interactions with me. And I had to occasionally try to throw someone else under the bus a little bit. I know that I did that with Nick. When Nick went out the door, he was saying, man, Cliff, it's just you and Tommy. If both of y'all will vote the other direction, then I'll be safe. And now it's true. Tommy had already decided to vote Nick out. He wasn't going to vote out Christy. So he'd already decided, but I spent a lot of time saying, look, man, Nick, I would keep you in a heartbeat if I could, but my vote's not going to make the difference. So as much as I want you to stay, I can't. And I get it, man. I get it, bro. So I tried to do that with Nick, just because. So yeah, you always have to think about that. But yeah, it was Paul, victim of bitter jury. Yeah, but that's not to say he didn't deserve a little bit as well. But I also applaud him for pretty decent gameplay that season. All right, Lori H saying, any ideas on what the house setting will be this season? I got no idea. Why? Because it's a 25th season, because I think they're going to be reflecting on past seasons and all of that. What if they had it looking exactly like season 2 or season 3, just low production, nothing fancy whatsoever? Yeah, I don't know. I could see maybe a different room of every room in the house having a theme from a different season or something. Maybe I don't know. Or is it all going to reflect around the number 25 somehow? I don't know what that means. I don't know. That's what's going to be fun. Normally, it seems like they release maybe the theme to the house just a day or two before they list the cast, and then we start getting to see it. And I don't know. I'll always maintain that I had the best possible theme, that outdoor setting and all that. That was perfect for me. I don't like the seasons that have a whole lot of neon and chrome and very garish kind of look. That'd be tough. It's bright enough with all the lights in that house. To have a lot of neon and chrome and all that also reflecting everywhere just make you tired. I kind of like the softer look that ours had. But this season, no, that's going to be the big, they're keeping it under wraps, aren't they? I've seen 1 or 2 shots where people have taken pictures overhead. I don't know if it's from Google Maps or someone's flying drones over where they're trying to take pictures of the backyard. And I've seen a few of them, but that really hadn't revealed anything either. So I don't know. I'm excited to find out, though. All right. Wow. 7:54. Go so, or 7:50. So quick. Mark Taylor said, can you show us Monday your stuff that they sent to you? Yeah, I'll maybe not next Monday. We'll see. It depends on what news we hear and what's going on. But yeah, I'll bring out some of the things they gave us. I know I've tried to wear my BB Comics outfit before on the show, but here's the problem. For those of you who may wonder, I'm not actually at the chicken. Now I got a green screen behind me to help out a little bit. Unfortunately, my BB Comics outfit is a green outfit. So when I wore that on one of these episodes, I quickly realized that you weren't seeing my BB Comics outfit. All you were seeing was a little floating head of Cliff, a little shield right here in the middle. So that didn't work out so well. But yeah, I've got a few of them. And unfortunately, my coffee cup they gave me is green as well. But I'll bring out some of the non-green mementos and show. Yeah, that'd be kind of fun. That may be something I do off season as opposed to getting ready for Big Brother. But I keep remind me of it because that'd be a lot of fun. I was really excited when I got that box back and just started going through and seeing some things I really wanted to see, some things I'd completely forgotten about. You know, 99 days is a long, long time to be in a house. I was in, how many was it? 24 of the 26 competitions. I was in a lot of competitions. So I wore a lot of outfits while I was in there. Some of them I have fonder memories than others. I do still have this is what I need to wear for y'all one of these days. I've got the lederhosen that we wore for the slip and slides, covered in lard or Crisco or whatever they used. But Holly and Kat sat down, spent all day long out by the washing machine, putting hot water on and getting all that stuff off, and washed it for all of us that competed in that competition. I'm forever grateful because now I've got my little orange lederhosen that I wore for that competition. Was it Kat? Kat may have already been evicted. Maybe it's just Holly. We'll see. But yeah, that was kind of cool. I'll wear that one of these days because Lord knows Sharon's not going to let me wear it outside or around the house. So I'll do it for y'all instead. All right, Carissa West. Hey, Carissa. Hi, Cliff. And Chris Tyne says hi as well. Welcome to both of y'all. I'm glad y'all are here with us. Thank you. Brian saying after live on Thursday, when you're still doing the HOH comp, does Julie still say anything, or is she done after the live episode? She's pretty much done after the live episode. Normally, if it's one that starts off live and then it extends into beyond that, we'll normally hear something like, all right, house guest, the game goes on. Yeah, she'll have some little goodbye, stay warm or good luck to you or whatever. And she'll pretty much say what she says to finish up the episode. And then I think for the most part, that's it. I don't recall her ever saying anything beyond that at that point in time. Once that happens, and she's obviously just a voice from a speaker up on high or whatever. After that, then it's kind of taken over by the game producer who may say, all right, guys, this is, we're going to, I'm trying to think what they would say. It's you're halfway there, or you need to step to the next step, or whatever it is. If we need any instructions, then they do it. But yeah, Julie pretty much just handles the live show, and then she shuts it down after that. I can't remember that there's any that were, man, that comeback when I won that battle back, and Julie said something like, all right, house guest, you got 1 minute left. And I said, nah, Julie, I don't need that long. I just thought it was fun that I was interacting with Julie live on TV. And there's a few times she asked me questions while we were sitting around before or after the vote as well, where she kind of caught me off guard. I'm glad I had something good to say, but that's always kind of cool that I'm actually talking to Julie Chen. Still a little awestruck on that. All right, what else do we have? It's getting so to the end here. Amanda Lowe, if they call you to host a comp this year, do you think you'd be able to tell anyone? No, I doubt it. I'd tell my wife because how can I not? Because if I'm going out to California, she's going with me. It didn't like when I played Big Brother, unless they're bringing me into the house for a long period of time. If I'm just going out there at host, I'm taking her with me. So yeah, Sharon will know. Beyond that, I have a feeling they'll have a whole binder of documents saying that they own everything about me if I say a word to anyone beforehand. So no. Could I hint around at it? Well, maybe, but would I ever take a chance? Yeah, probably not. But I will say this. I'd figure out a way to let y'all know before anyone else. Now, maybe it wouldn't be but 2 minutes before the episode or something, but I'd figure out some way to let y'all get the inside scoop. But yeah, no, I have a feeling they're pretty tight on that kind of information and everything else, right? Because they don't want spoiled. There's already enough spoiler people out there. Yeah, and I don't want to get them mad at me. If I get them mad at me, they'll never ask me back. So yeah, I'm gonna play by the rules. Sorry, but I'll figure out how to get you a little bit of a heads up if I can. All right, Brian saying they don't want to release much info until the house is in sequester. Well, that's absolutely right. I mean, they're so y'all don't understand how controlling they were while we were in sequester before going into the house. Just no one could talk. We had these not just little blindfolds on. These were things full face cloths that went down to here. And you had to put your hands on the shoulder of someone who would guide you around. And part of it is they didn't want us to see anything, but they also didn't want any snoopers with cameras taking pictures of us either. So yeah, I was always amazed at how absolutely secretive everything was leading up to it. I understand it, but yeah, it was they were very tight-lipped. There's a lot of stuff going on. You know, we wouldn't even walk through the hotel lobbies. They had little secret passages for us to go through, all kinds of stuff. It was pretty amazing. All right. With that being said, I think we're about there. I have a few notes here and there I didn't even have a chance to talk about, but that's okay. That's what's all about preseason, right? Ma saying when does season 25 or who is that? May saying when does season 25 start? August 2nd, 7 o'clock Central Time, which I think means 8 o'clock East Coast time, 7 to 8:30, and I'm so excited. I can't wait. Now remember, before that, we actually have next week, next Wednesday, I think July 26th is going to be their retrospective, the past 25 seasons. You know, they've got Janelle and Kaiser and Taylor, a few people, Frankie Grande and Brendan and Rachel and Jordan and Jeff, maybe one or two others I missed, but they've got some folks talk about all the different seasons from start to finish, and that'll be kind of cool. But yeah, maybe I'll get a little quick shot in there somewhere. But now the big deal starts on August 2nd. It's going to be so much fun. I'm going to be doing the recap, so I need to get my sleep now. All right, guys, that being said, we're gonna shut down. Is there anything else I was going to talk about? Probably not. This day in history, 1955, Disneyland opened. Happy birthday to David Hasselhoff. He turned 71. Yeah, we had more important stuff to talk about than either one of those. So we'll shut down with that, guys. Y'all have a fantastic week. We're in the second half of July. That means August is right around the corner. Brian's saying sequester starts this week. Yeah, that makes sense. I don't know exactly how they're handling COVID now in California, but that's about right. So right now, as we speak, there is multiple somewheres, people have their bags packed. They're saying goodbye to their family. They're nervous. They're excited. They have no clue what awaits them here over the next few weeks, few months, and but what an adventure they're gonna get. I'm so excited for them. And if you need just a little last minute information, you're watching it, call me, DM me. I'll give you some scoop, guys. Have a great one. As I mentioned, the first show, if you haven't already done so, please consider going out, subscribing to the channel, turn on notifications, maybe a thumbs up as well is always appreciated, because it's going to be an interesting 99 days, 120 days. We don't know. Maybe 180 days at this rate in time. You'd have to have a lot of battle backs to do that. But hey, who knows? They haven't had a battle back since mine. So we'll see. All right, guys. Finish it up with a big old SKD 143. Love my wife, love my kids, love reality TV, and love you guys. So appreciative of the Monday nights we get to spend out here. Y'all have a great one. Until next Monday or before, based on what happens. If you got notifications turned on, you'll find all about it. But yeah, if any big news breaks, I'll be out here talking about it. Until then, till next Monday, cheers, my friends. Y'all have a great one.